If you produce the same product 3 times, will all these 3 batches taste, look, and perform exactly the same? If not, your challenge may not be your recipe. It might be your process. Hello, foodpreneurs, and welcome to another just concluded week from the Food Processing Solution Network, from process to profit. Let me start with an important question. If you produce the same product 3 times this week, will all 3 batches look, taste, and perform the same way? If your answer is not exactly, then this week's discussion is particularly important. Throughout the week, we have been talking about moving from guesswork to standard production, because knowing how to make a product is one thing. Being able to produce the same quality consistently is another level entirely. On Monday, we looked at why products change from batch to batch. Sometimes it is the measurements. Sometimes the raw materials are different. Sometimes temperature, mixing time, process time, or even the method has changed. When any of these change without control, the finished product can also change. On Tuesday, we talked about many small processors overlooked. Stop producing only from memory. Write down your process. Your business should not exist only inside your head. Your measurements, processing steps, temperatures, times, yield, and important observations should gradually become part of a documented production system. Because if nobody can produce your product without you standing beside them, scaling the business becomes difficult. Then on Wednesday, we asked, do you know your expected yield? It is not enough to know what went into production. You should also know what should come out of it. If you normally expect 100 bottles and suddenly get 85, don't just accept it. Ask, what happened to the difference? Was there spillage, overfilling, product left in the equipment, wrong measurement, processing loss? Remember, unexplained product loss is also financial loss. On Thursday, we discussed how small changes can create big product problems. Changing an ingredient supplier, adding a little more water, reducing processing time, changing packaging, or adjusting a formulation may look insignificant, but those changes can affect taste, texture, color, yield, stability, shelf life, and even product safety. Change is not necessarily wrong, but in food processing, changes should be deliberate, recorded, and evaluated. And finally, on Friday, we asked perhaps the most important question: will you release this batch for sale? Before any product reaches your customer, look at it critically. Is the appearance right? Is the taste right? Is the texture right? Is the packaging properly sealed? Was the process properly followed? Is anything unusual about this batch? Never allow the pressure to recover production costs to make you release a product you are doubtful about. One bad batch can cost more than the value of the product itself. It can cost you customer confidence and your brand reputation. So here is the major lesson from this week. Consistency is not an accident. It is the result of controlled and repeatable process. The goal is to move from I know how I normally make it to this is our standard process. These are our measurements. These are our expected results. And this is how we know when something has gone wrong. That is how a foodpreneur begins to move from simply making food to building a structured food processing business. Your weekly challenge: before your next production, ask yourself, do I have a written process? Do I know my expected yield? Do I record important changes during production? And can I reproduce the same quality again and again? If any question is no, you have identified something important to start working on. If this discussion has been useful to you, share in the comment section. What is the biggest challenge you face in maintaining consistent quality from batch to batch? Your response may even guide one of our upcoming discussions. And if you are watching us on YouTube, subscribe to the Food Processing Solution Network and turn on your notification so you don't miss our practical food processing and food business conversation. Until our next session, keep learning, keep improving your process, and keep building a business that can grow. From Processing Solution Network, from process to profit.